Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm gonna review two German sunscreens from the same German brand, Eco Elio. Eco Elio is a German brand that specializes on sunscreens, and when you go on their website, you can see that they have 4 different types of sunscreens with different packaging. I personally did not know about this brand until one of my French subscribers told me about it and asked me if I could review one of their sunscreen, which is called the More Care, which seemed to be the most popular sunscreen of theirs. And although it took me a while to make this request, at least instead of making a video review about one sunscreen from the brand, I'm gonna review 2 sunscreens from the brand because both seemed interesting. When you take some time to read information on their website, you get quickly informed that they do not use fragrances or drying alcohol or old sunscreen filters in their formula, and their sunscreens are invisible. And those different claims made by the brands are the type of claims that I like to see when I'm going to buy a sunscreen. When you look at both sunscreens, what differs is the packaging. One comes in a tube, one comes in a cylindrical bottle with a pump. The other main difference comes from the fact that the More Care sunscreen comes in 3 different packaging. And the smallest packaging, which is the one I have today, contains 75 millimeters, which is more than the content of the other sunscreen, the Aura Boost, which contains 50 millimeters. So although the More Care sunscreen contains more product, it is still cheaper than the sunscreen Aura Boost. And after the application demonstration, we'll take the time to look into the ingredients of both of those sunscreens to see if there are more differences. The More Care sunscreen has a texture that is a mix of a cream and a gel. It is quite a light texture that reminds me a lot of many Korean sunscreens. You see here that I mix the product into my fingers before applying into my face, and I will do the exact same thing with the next sunscreen, and I will explain you why towards the end of the video. The application is easy, and you can see that the product is invisible on my skin. It doesn't feel heavy. It absorbs into my skin quite fast, which is a good thing for me. And when I am done applying the product into my skin, as I always do, I'll wait a few minutes, maximum 5 minutes, then I wipe the excess of my skin. I do that because I have oily skin, so I always tend to have an extra glow. But if you don't have oily skin, you may not see that on your own skin. The result is nice. I have nothing bad to say about it. It does not make my skin look more greasy, at least not during this current weather, which is cold. We are in winter in Paris, and I can easily wear it throughout the day without feeling extra greasiness on my skin, which at the moment is mostly oily, but some part of my face have a normal skin type, so I would say I currently have combination skin with an oily side that is more pleasant. I have nothing bad to say about it. It gives a nice natural glow on my skin. The next sunscreen has a different texture than the previous one. Here it is still a mix of a cream and a gel texture, but you feel the gel more than the cream aspect. The texture is also thinner, and the texture here is different than other sunscreens I have tried. Here again, I massaged the sunscreen into my fingers before applying it on my face. The application is easy. contrary to the first sunscreen on my skin type, I feel that it takes more time for the sunscreen to absorb on my skin or to set. So I spend a little bit more time spreading the sunscreen on my face. When I'm done, the glow on my face is more present than the previous sunscreen, and also more sunscreen is sitting on my face than the previous one because this one does not absorb as much. But I wait a few minutes, and after a few minutes I quickly wipe the excess like I always do, and then the feeling in the end is also well moisturized skin. I don't know if you will be able to tell with the camera, but with this product I have an extra glow compared to the previous one, even if I try to remove excess glow like I always do. And the surprising part for me was that although this product has a thinner texture, on my face it does not feel less moisturizing. Actually, it feels more moisturizing when I apply the product, but also throughout the day it also feels more moisturizing, which can still work on my skin type at the moment because it is winter time. I must say that both of those sunscreens do not sting my eyes, although I have very sensitive eyes who tends to sting with sunscreens, especially the ones who contain former sunscreen filters. Here I didn't have any issue, probably because they contain modern sunscreen filters. And that experience was the same no matter the season, because I bought those sunscreens last spring. So I was able to test them during spring, summertime, fall, and this winter as well. I said earlier that I was going to explain to you why I felt the need to mix the cream into my hands before applying it on my face. And the reason is that at the beginning, when I bought those sunscreens, every time I would use them, the sunscreen would peel on my face, and I'm gonna show you some video footage so you can see what I mean. I had this problem with both sunscreens, but the peeling was more intense with the Aura Boost sunscreen. I am aware that some sunscreens can peel, and sometimes it depends on the products you used before applying the sunscreen. So I tried different ways to apply those sunscreens with nothing underneath, with my regular serums, with different serums on very dry skin, on moisturized skin. I tried different combinations, but every time the sunscreens would peel on me. So I actually wrote to the brand to tell them about that. They told me that they have a few people that complained about that. So they actually offered me to send me another of a sunscreen which does not have any of those feedbacks. When they told me that, I thought that before I give you a review of this product, I need other people to test them as well. So I did that during those Christmas holidays. I had friends and my sisters tried those sunscreens. I didn't tell them anything about the peeling aspects, and when I asked them for their feedback, none of them complained about the peeling. I then asked them if they didn't have any peeling issue or application issue, and they didn't understand what I was talking about. I even saw one of my sister apply the products on her face, and it was amazing to see that she didn't have peeling, like zero peeling at all. Although every time I applied both of those sunscreens, I had peelings. And they were actually happy with those sunscreens, which made me jealous because I thought I bought those sunscreens. They should work on me. So for some reasons, I don't know why, I decided to try them again, but this time I decided to mix the product into my hand before applying it on my face. And miracle, it works. When I do that, I don't have any peeling. Sometimes I have very minor peeling, but nothing annoying, and most of the time I don't see any peeling at all. So I'm very happy I was able to find a way to make them work. Now let's look at the differences regarding the ingredients, because when it comes to price, there is a clear price difference. And when you look at the marketing and the ingredients on the sunscreen, you can see that the brand focus the Aura Boost for anti-aging, and the More Care is more focused on regular skin. Regarding the level of sun protection, the level is the same. They both have SPF 50 protection. They both protect against UVA, against blue light. When you look at the ingredient list, they contain the same sunscreen filters, and they also contain the same amount of niacinamide, which is 4% for both products. The main difference is regarding the antioxidants, which you have more in the Aura Boost sunscreen than the More Care sunscreen. And antioxidants are said to have anti-aging properties. Would I buy both of those sunscreens? No, I would buy one. And I think you can guess it's gonna be the More Care sunscreen, because I could more easily wear this sunscreen throughout the year. Although it is still too moisturizing for my skin in the summertime, it is still manageable compared to the Aura Boost, which in the summertime made my skin way too oilier. As I said, although the texture of the Aura Boost is lighter, on my skin I feel that it is more moisturizing, which is fine in the winter, but which is too much for my skin in the summertime. So I feel more comfortable with the More Care because I know that I would be able to use it more easily throughout the year and not just in the middle of winter. I would like to thank the subscriber that told me about this product, about this German brand. I would like you to tell me in the comment section if you have ever tried any German sunscreens. It was the first time for me and it was a nice discovery. Thank you for watching the video until the end, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.